Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's EricRayweather here, and I'm about to show you the top 7 playbooks for Madden 22. Now, I'm not going to put them in any particular order this year because, honestly, each playbook has their own unique style, and depending on the type of player you are, it's going to determine which playbook you ultimately end up choosing. I'm just going to try to lead you in the right direction of some of the best playbooks to look into. Now, you're going to see some new ones on the list this year because EA added new formations, ton of new plays, and they switched up a lot of playbooks. So let's start it off with the Buffalo Bills. Now, this is a playbook you don't see mentioned often because it hasn't been one of the top playbooks, but let me tell you, this year they went crazy with this playbook. So if you scroll through the single back, there's a ton of stuff in single back for you here, including single back bunch tight end, which I absolutely love. It's got the wide receiver power fake jet. It's got some really good passing plays. It's got an amazing power alert bubble screen. It's got cross drag, just a ton of good plays. But if you back out and get to the I form, you got a ton of stuff in I form as well, so you can run the ball really well with this playbook. Even the strong formation is loaded, even the weak formation. It's one of the better under center playbooks in all of Madden 22. There's tons of runs and passes if you want to get under center. Then you've got pistol, a few good pistol formations like pistol trips and others. It's just loaded at every level. Then you get to shotgun, you've got split slot, you've got some of the normal stuff, but then you get to the Y off X close, which is basically the U-trips formation from the Patriots playbook that has pretty much just been exclusive to that playbook for a while. Now it's in the Bills playbook. You got Y off trips. You've got a pretty good trips tight end, which is always one of the better formations in the game. You've got a pretty good gun bunch as well with most of the good bunch plays. You've got a shotgun tight that's got good plays as well. You've got trip halfback weak. You've got the ever so popular Trey Y flex. Just a ton of stuff in this playbook. It's loaded at every level, and you can find something to fit your style in this playbook guaranteed. Now look, if you want to stay up to date with the top Madden tips all year and never miss a video, make sure to subscribe, turn the bell icon on so you don't miss these videos when they go live. We're on the road to 400K, and I would love for you guys to be a part of the journey with the rest of us. Next up is the Seattle Seahawks playbook. This was one of the better playbooks last year, and it remains that way this year as well. So you go through single back, you've got a decent amount of single back stuff, a good variety. It also has the single back bunch tight end as well. You've got single back tight Y off, which isn't in a lot of playbooks. You've got a ton of stuff in their single back actually. In I form, you got a couple formations, just enough to keep you honest with the run. Not too much, but just enough. You've got a little bit in the strong. You've got a little bit in pistol as well. This is not the most under center heavy playbook. It has just enough for when you need to run, but what you really use this playbook for is the shotgun. It's got a whole bunch of shotgun stuff, but a few of the best things are the trips tight end offset, which is not as good as regular trips tight end, but it's pretty close. Then you've got gun bunch, one of the best gun bunch formations in all of the game. And then you've got bunch tight end, which is not in a whole lot of playbooks. So the combination of having bunch tight end and one of the better bunch formations is kind of what makes this playbook what it is, if you want to be honest. You've got bunch open tight end, you've got tight slots, you've got some spread, you've got the ever so popular Trey Y flex once again, which is great to have in your playbook, and you've actually got some interesting stuff in the 5 wide and empty sets that are not found in a bunch of playbooks. You got some jet sweeps, you got some touch passes, you got empty bunch, which is always a pretty tough formation as well. Next up is the Kansas City Chiefs playbook. It might be my personal favorite right now, and I'll tell you why in a second. It's not a playbook that's going to be for everybody. It's a little bit more unique, but it has a ton of stuff in it, starting with single back. It has the deuce Y flex, which is making its return to the game this year, which is a really unique formation. In I form and strong, you don't really have a whole bunch. You do have strong jumbo, which I do believe is a new formation. This is going to be a good formation to pick up those easy yards on the goal line and things like that. Again, this is going to be more of a shotgun style playbook. You have a little bit of pistol, a little bit of weak, a little bit of strong, and a little bit of I form. None of them are loaded. It's just enough. But when you get to shotgun, that's where this playbook makes its name. It has a ton of stuff in shotgun, a lot of great formations. It's got Y off trips. It's got Y trio offset. It's got trio offset weak, which is a really, really tough formation with some unique plays. But as we keep scrolling, we get to the bunch Y flex, which is a new formation in the game this year. It's in a few playbooks. This is one of the most exciting new formations in the game, and if you look at these plays here, you can see why. It's got everything you need. You got bubble screens, corner routes, you've got great crossing routes, you've got running back option routes, you've got screens, you've got flood, which is a really good flood concept play in the game every year. Just an amazing formation. Then you've got the bunch halfback strong, which is another unique formation not found in a bunch of playbooks. And you also have bunch tight end, and this is the best bunch tight end in the whole game. When have you ever seen a gun bunch tight end with the RPO alert bubble or the new play triple out? Just a ton of great plays, and it still has the plays you know and love, like the PA boot over, the inside zone, zone, the curl flat corner, the screens, and everything else. You got tight slots, you got spread stuff. Again, you got Trey Y flex, which you do find in most playbooks. It's always a go-to formation. You've got some good empty and 5 wide stuff as well. But again, where this playbook makes its name is bunch tight end, bunch halfback strong, and bunch wide flex. These 3 formations right here, when schemed together, are going to be a big pain to stop this year. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts playbook. Another name that you don't hear typically when talking playbooks in Madden, but they've changed a lot of stuff this year, and this playbook has some nice stuff. Now, it's not the best under center playbook. It's another one of those. You do have some good single back. I'll give it that. You have a decent amount of stuff in single back here for sure. You have no I form. You have a little bit of weak. You're going to also have your goal line if you really need to pound the ball. But when you go to shotgun, this playbook is going to be really important for one reason. You see all these formations, which are great. You got wing slot, you got tight Y off, you got doubles offset, you've got all this stuff, stack Y off trips weak. You've got trips tight end offset. But these next 2 formations are what make this playbook. You've got the bunch Y flex, which we just talked about is a new formation this year. The one that we were just talking about in the Chiefs playbook. It's the exact same in this playbook, so that's a plus. But when you get to bunch offset, this might be the most loaded bunch formation I've ever seen in a Madden game, and that's saying something. When you scroll through here, you've got double post, which is one of the better plays in the game. You even have a read option in this bunch. You've got speed dig, you've got Z spot and go, you've got curl flat, you've got smash return, you've got flood, you've got bench pivot, you've got verts, you've got your screens, you've got bunch halfback drives, you've got mesh post, which is always one of the best plays in the game. This bunch is absolutely loaded, and when combined with the new bunch Y flex, these 2 formations right here are what give this playbook its name, and it's something that a true bunch passer is going to have to look at in Madden 22. You still got some other good formations, of course, your spreads, your doubles, your trips tight end flex, which is pretty similar to the Trey Y flex, which is always good, and of course you still have your empty sets as well. Now it's time to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. If you've been playing Madden at all over the past 2 years, you already knew this playbook was coming. It was hands down the best playbook the past 2 years. It actually got a little worse this year, but it's still top 2 in the game, I would say. It's definitely a big under center playbook. If you are a guy that likes to run the ball, this is the playbook you have to be in, with formations like single back, wing, flex, close, with all of your I form closes, your close flex, your tights, your wings. You've got strong close, strong slot, strong wing. You've got weak. This is a runner's paradise playbook. If you're running the ball in Madden, this is probably the playbook you're going to be in. But what makes it so great is how good the shotgun is. Now, it's got some new formations like the split twins. This is a pretty fun formation. You've got wing slot offset. You've got your tight slots. You've got your doubles, your trios, your trays. You still have bunch tight end, one of the best formations in the game. You still have a pretty decent gun bunch. You've got tight, you've got spread, you've got Trey Y flex, a formation I always love. The one thing that happened in this playbook this year is it lost trips tight end, which definitely was a big hit. But even with that said, you still got a ton of great shotgun, and you've got the best under center playbook in the game, hands down. So this is still going to be a top playbook to look into for Madden 22. The New England Patriots playbook might be my next favorite playbook outside of the Chiefs. It might be my favorite playbook. I haven't really decided yet. This was always one of the best playbooks in Madden. It had been the #1 playbook for some years. Took a back seat for the last couple years, but it's back this year for one main reason. It added a lot more to the QB run game in this playbook. It's still got its typical single back sets. It's got just enough I form. You got I form Z close, which is a newer formation, but you've got just enough under center stuff to run the ball. Actually, a little bit more than enough, to be honest. But when you get to pistol, you got pistol weak, which is nice to have because you do have the triple option and things like that. You've got heavy Patriot, which did get added to the playbook last year, which is really good if you like playing with running QBs, especially Lamar Jackson. But as you scroll through the playbook, you'll see you've got a lot of the same formations that it's always had. It did lose split close, which does kind of suck a little bit, but other than that, it's still got all of the formations you know and love. The U trips or the Y off trips pats. You've still got a really good trips tight end, which now has a QB power. I think this is the only trips tight end that has QB power, so that kind of takes this trips tight end to another level. If you're using a Lamar Jackson type who can run and pass, that makes this formation so much tougher than it already was. You've got a really good gun bunch. You've got spreads. You've got trips tight end flex, which is very similar to Trey Y flex. But if you look throughout this playbook, you'll notice more QB runs and things of that nature. So this is definitely going to probably be the #1 playbook for a lot of people this year. I haven't officially decided if it's my #1 yet, but it's definitely up there. And last but not least, you gotta mention the Ravens playbook because it's one of the most unique playbooks every year. It's not for everybody, but it's something that a lot of people do like to use because of how unique it is. Now, under center wise, it's not gonna give you too much. You have just enough if you need to pound the rock, but when you get to pistol and shotgun is really where it goes crazy. You have just a ton of pistol formations. You've got pistol bunch, which is awesome. You've got all of these weaks and strongs that have jet sweeps. They have triple options. They have speed options. I mean, it's a running QB's paradise playbook, as it should be, because Lamar Jackson is the quarterback. You go to shotgun, you've got the split close pro, which has some new stuff. You've got split twins, which is another new formation that looks really good. You've got shotgun deuce close. You've got wing slot. You've got normal. You scroll over, you've got a pretty decent bunch. You got bunch open offset. You've got tray. You've got tray open. But again, where this playbook makes its name is with the jet sweeps, the QB runs, the options, all of the pistol sets, just all of the unique things that this playbook has to offer makes it a playbook you have to look into every year.